Stand by for the opening night of the National Television.
I'm Susie from Sydney Derby Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the Sydney Derby Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.
Live from 5x5 round 1 for 2015. Game number 3 about to get underway. And it is a doozy, folks. If you're watching at home, you are spoiled because this is a game that goes deep in roller derby history in New South Wales. If you're familiar with the Eastern Region Roller Derby Smackdown or the New South Wales Derby scene at all, then you are familiar with these two teams. Newcastle Roller Derby League's Dockyard Dames taking on Wollongong Illawarra Derby's Steel City Derby Dolls. It is a rivalry that goes back years to the very early stages of roller derby in the region. 2010 is when they first faced off in the Steel City Skate City tournament, and since then they've had some big, hard-hitting, hard-fought battles, and you're sure to see that here again today. Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby beating Newcastle in their first ever game back in 2010. Since that day, Newcastle has had the wood over Wollongong, so look for Wollongong for some revenge today. Both teams have gone back a long way, but very, very different looking teams today. Wollongong coming with their short squads that they're used to, that they run with, that they're comfortable with playing short. Newcastle, some big names missing, some familiar faces out of the lineup. Godzilla sold separately, Dangerous, Champagne Showers, Baby Cakes, Beaver Destruction. So you're seeing a new squad trying to gel together up against the veterans of Wollongong. And I'm sure with all the teams currently playing in the 5x5, but also Sydney, New South Wales as a whole, if you were to do a count of the games played, the experience that these teams have, these are two of the oldest and most established and most dominant leagues in the region for quite some time. Look for a hard-hitting, fast-paced game, and people to watch out for is the blocking defensive walls of viciousness. Watch for the speed coming out of Holly Funk from Newcastle. New names that are on the team: Italy, making her debut for Wollongong this year. A world traveller from Italy, of course, funnily enough, has played around the world for Newcastle. Welcoming home Booger and Cass joining the team. So there's a lot of things to watch out for, a lot of things that make this game a fascinating and interesting matchup. All coming up on this game, game number 3, round 1, 5x5, live from Niagara Park at Central Coast. I appreciate that. Where's Mel? Just remember, maybe you get that chance. Okay, so game number 3 from round 1 5x5 Roller Derby Championship for 2015. My name is the Big Kahuna.
And I am the fabulous Sebastian.
We're here for commentating the game for Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby Steel City Derby Dolls taking on Newcastle Roller Derby League's Dockyard Dames. Lining up for the Dames in purple and yellow today. We have License to Kill, Fantastic, Megalomaniac, Caliente, Booger, Holly Funk, Reggie Ramjet, K-Sass, Hippie Hardass, Moxie Monoxide, and Thunderslut.
Always hard not to laugh with that last name there, Big Kahuna. And lining up for the Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby, the Weirdos, Parole Denied, Roundhouse Ruby, Ziggy Starbuster, Bucking Beck, Kitty Killer, Foxy C, Janice Jobham, Kim Ocean, Vicious Ness, and Italy. And what a game this promises to be.
Absolutely. I talked about the history of these two teams, their pedigree with which they have. Usually when it comes to roller derby, experience is what matters, and these two teams have it in spades. I'm handing over to my colleague, Melodrama. She's going to be taking over the call with Fabulous Sebastian. Sorry, I take that back. I'm rolling deep with Sebastian. Melodrama bowing out. Bowing out on her role here, her job. I don't know what she's doing if she expects to keep this gig running.
Apparently her voice is already gone from the excitement of the previous bouts.
So I'll happily step in for Melodrama. I know it's a letdown for you audience members at home.
It's a letdown for me as well. Don't forget me, Kahuna.
Sure it is. But we're going to keep it cash, keep it fun.
Got to keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keeping it all sorts of things here at the 5x5.
They know I always like to talk geography, Kahuna.
You do.
So Sydney is the capital of New South Wales, the unofficial capital of Australia. Newcastle is to the north of Sydney. Wollongong is to the south of Sydney. They're both strong blue-collar cities.
Steel City, or both of them really. We've got the Steel City Derby Dolls taking on the Dockyard Dames. Their names actually say it all, really.
They're both coastal towns. A lot of work in steel. They're tough. They're tough people.
And tough jammers, both teams, because Kitty Killer, she's lead jammer now for Wollongong to get this game started. Holly Funk still held up in the pack, now out on a scoring pass, looking to close the gap, but Kitty Killer approaching for points now. Going around the outside, she picks up 4 and calls it off. Wollongong off to a good start here, 4-0 Wollongong.
Going around the outside, we often call that the Buffalo Girl move.
Round the outside, round the outside.
So Weird up to a 4-zip start in the opening jam. So both teams have been around for quite a while in the district. Both have a lot of experience and both quite decimated in the off-season.
Yeah, losing some significant names. Injury playing a factor. Newcastle look to have some of their stars back as games progress throughout the season. Thunderslut with the star now for Newcastle. Ziggy Starbuster. Ziggy is lead jammer for Wollongong. She's got lead jammer status. And Thunderslut still held up in this pack. As I said earlier, Vicious Ness, the one-woman wall, causing all sorts of trouble for Thunderslut right now, getting some help from Kim Ocean and Parole Denied. Wollongong, even though they're short on numbers, they're skating today with 9. The 9 that they're always able to pull together are just physically imposing. They've got some of the biggest skaters, the tallest. Like Ness and Parole Denied, just put them in a wall together. I don't know how you get through that.
Parole Denied actually limping off the track there. Appears to have maybe done some damage to her ankle or knee. We'll see whether she recovers in time for the next jam.
Looks like she's stretching it out, so maybe it's a cramp. Shin splints, something along those lines. Either way, looking very uncomfortable right now. And with such a short lineup for Wollongong, can't afford to lose any players.
But even Newcastle's lineup, that's not a full team of 14 there.
No, both teams skating short. Fantastic with the jammer star now for Newcastle. Italy jamming for Wollongong. And Italy is out. Now, I know you are a big proponent of geography, Sebastian. So how far is Italy from the Central Coast?
It's a long way from the Central Coast, and it's shaped like a boot, incidentally.
It is. He knows that from his atlas.
Don't knock the atlas. Italy borders on many countries. Germany, Greece, flows into the Mediterranean, in fact.
Switzerland. I know Switzerland somewhere there.
Oh, you're getting a bit too advanced for me with those northern, with those northern states.
So Parole Denied looking a bit worse for wear in that last jam she was in. Skating out there now. No issues so far.
But Wollongong out with their tall wall. Very tall blocking pack.
So Kitty Killer jamming for Wollongong, finding the inside open for a Holly Funk, one to beat. Unfortunately, it's Vicious Nest, causing all sorts of trouble for her right now. Reinforcements come in the form of Ziggy Starbuster.
Indeed, now both teams may be down on numbers, but a lot of veterans still out here. Kitty Killer, many skating.
Yeah, long history for a lot of these players out there. So Holly Funk now out of the pack. Wollongong calls it off. 3 for 3 so far. Sorry, 4 for 4 even. 12-0 Wollongong off to a quick start here.
Parole Denied still not looking 100%. Once again, sitting down the stretch in between jams.
So Thunderslut, she's jamming for Newcastle. Sees Daylight at the front, but skips to the back. And Italy, she's dragged to the back, jamming for Wollongong. And Newcastle have lead jammer for the first time.
We may see the first points on the board for Newcastle. They're trailing 12-0, which is only a small lead. A low score for after 5 minutes, only 12 points.
So earlier today, Sebastian, we saw Southside defeating Snipers in their debut in the 5x5.
Indeed.
Armageddon Division debutants as well here. Newcastle, Royal W League's Dockyard Dames.
Indeed, Newcastle have been around for years. Maybe the second or third team in the state.
Yeah, I'd say so. Behind Sydney, Canberra, Newcastle right up there with them. And bouting history goes back to 2009.
Yeah, which is only 1 year later than Sydney, who were the first team in 2008 to play.
Yeah. So Newcastle, obviously long time team, and what a lot of the newer leagues would refer to as the Big Five in New South Wales. That's Sydney, Canberra, Newcastle, Wollongong, and Western Sydney. Now 3 of those leagues participating in the 5x5. So Newcastle making their debut this year, and certainly, based on history anyway, a strong favourite to be playing in August come the grand final.
Well, we'll see whether that works out today, given that they're not fielding a full team today. Injuries, absences may very well cost them that top 2 finish.
We'll definitely see how that plays out. Wollongong so far in control, 20 points, place 2.
So even the decimated Wollongong team managing to hold into the lead. But as we've seen, this is our 3rd bout for the day. Certainly the lowest score of the day.
The thing about Wollongong, they no doubt they're playing short. I think they have 9 rostered today. But it's what they're used to. They've done that so much throughout most of last year. They'd name 14 and end up rolling with 10. They'd name 13 and play with 9. And it's kind of fortified them. Like people who are, I guess, tested by fire, trialed by fire, and they definitely went through fire last year in the Armageddon division. They went to TGSS with a short lineup through to Adelaide and got to the semi-finals in the B division, ended up coming 4th in that division. They played Eastern Region. They've gone through 5x5, so they've done all these with their short packs and their short lineups, and they're used to that.
And their fitness level must be impressive, because people will have to line up jam after jam. They don't have a chance to rest between jams in some situations. That's very demanding on your body.
And you'll see it a number of times here on the feed when a jam comes to a close, they don't go to the bench. Some of them just go straight back to the jam line up again, and let's do it.
Wow. When you only have 9 skaters and you need 5 on track, you can't rest.
See, people in roller derby, there's often a stigma attached with running short, but we've seen leagues out there that often skate with short rosters, and there's good things and there's bad things, right? So what you end up having is, okay, our players are going to get tired, but what it also means is if you've got a really good skater, it means they're out there more often. So the other team is like, oh, great, they're going to be tired. But it just means Newcastle's going to be running into the back of Vicious Nest a lot, like so many times throughout this game. So that's kind of the plus side, if you will, of running short. If you've got your best skaters and you know you've got an advantage in some regard, then they're going to be out there so many times. Like we saw it in game number 1, Southside versus Sydney. Feisty Cuffs finding the most success as a jammer for Sydney.
She jammed back-to-back several times.
She went out there a lot. So when you're running hot, when your player's on a roll, when you've got something that's working well, you usually run it out a lot more. I guess the silver lining on the cloud that is running short is that Wollongong run them out a lot. They have repetition. They get a lot of track time. They get to work with the same packs over and over again. That builds familiarity, and that builds game readiness and game awareness. And they're just out there so often that, you know, Malcolm Gladwell has the book about, is it 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Or the Outliers, something like that. But it speaks of to be truly expert at something, you need 10,000 hours to be considered an expert. They're getting their 10,000 hours of jam time by being out there so often.
And if I can be a bore, I can say that the 10,000 hours has since been disproved by scientists. In fact, they've proved that some people can never be good no matter how many hours they put into it.
Like me in commentary.
No, the examples are given more people with violins.
Right, even if you put in 10,000
hours, you may never
I'm
be
never going to be good at
the violin.
I can buy that. I can
Yeah.
understand that.
So they've actually done quite a lot of tests on that 10,000 hours and said no.
I'd be really interested in how they did that. Did they actually get someone to study the violin for 10,000 hours and they just still sucked at the end
They
of it?
did it over lots of people and how many hours they'd studied and how good they became.
Right. Ignore everything I just said for the last 5 minutes.
It's something you'll find with a lot of management books. The people that write them don't actually have a background in any of the social sciences.
No, it's just a theory.
Or any
It
science.
sounds good. It
It's
sells
not even a
books.
theory. It's not. You can't qualify it in scientific terms as a theory.
It's a hunch.
It's an idea
It's an idea.
that will sell them a book.
It sells books.
That will sell them a book. So always question what you read and question its validity.
Unlike the science of The Secret.
Oh, that's true though.
Yeah, that's real.
I've got a picture on my wall.
Vision wall. Sebastian's vision wall has him calling with the big kahuna one day, and it came true, Sebastian. It came true.
All that money I had to pay for that.
So game is underway again. We had some technical difficulties in-house with the scoreboard, which is why that timeout was in play. But we're rolling and ready once again. Holly Funk jamming for Newcastle. She's at the front, spreading that pack out. 20-foot rule applies. Lead jammer to Newcastle via Holly Funk. Italy jamming for Wollongong. She's on the way to the box. A power jam now here for Newcastle, and a chance to take the lead, if not at least chip away at it.
And there's a good chance that they're only 18 points behind. Easy to make that distance in a power jam. There's the first 5.
That's 5 points to get this jam
Let's see.
started right.
So we see that Wollongong there trying to create the opening for her. Only one blocker left. It's one-on-one action. Near the pivot line, the pack is extended too far.
So Holly Funk now 10 points in this jam.
Can she get one more pass before the power jam finishes?
Italy taking the long way back on track. Not hearing the 4 whistles there. She kept on skating hard. Played her the whistle, even beyond it, folks.
That's the focus. All she could see was a wall of blue and a point for passing each of them. And that's what she went for.
So after a big jam there from Newcastle, 10 points, they've chipped away. 12 plays 20. Wollongong still holding on. Ziggy Starbuster jamming for Wollongong. Thunderslight with the star now for Newcastle. She's at the front. Starbuster at the back.
And Newcastle with 2 in the bin, so there's a nice numerical advantage out there.
And Ziggy Starbuster taking full advantage. She's got lead for Wollongong.
So the bench yelling out to Wollongong to call off that jam, score the 4 points. 4 points to 2. Newcastle managing to pick up 2 points.
And as they're always known to do, Newcastle fans in the crowd making themselves heard. Usually just one, Gajilla.
One of the superstars of Newcastle out with injury at present. I imagine she's feeling frustrated at present, having to watch a game she would normally be leading.
Kitty Killer called for a track car power jam here for Newcastle.
No,
Oh,
Newcastle
both
also
jammers
out.
on their way to the box, so they'll do a tag in, tag out situation. Kitty Killer coming with a hot tag. That's a sports reference of some kind. Sports entertainment reference, anyway.
Hot tag. Blind tag? What's a hot tag?
You know when they come in off like one tag team member's getting beat up, they finally make the tag, and the other guy just comes in and lays everyone out.
That's called a hot tag?
It's called a hot tag. That's what CM Punk said on the podcast recently, anyway. So I just ran with it.
I'm going to have to hand in my wrestling commentator badge for not knowing it's called a hot tag.
That's some inside baseball there for you. Or inside wrestling, that is. Hot tag, good way to get him over. So no lead jammer. This one will go the full 2 minutes. Both jammers going point for point right now. 4 points apiece and 40 minutes left in this one. So there's still a lot more available. Fantastic hit to the back. And Kitty Killer.
What a casual pass on the outside.
There's 4.
And another 4.
4 more for Fantastic.
So it ends up with 11 points for Newcastle and 12 points for Wollongong. So the 2 full-minute jam.
So in the last game, folks, if you were paying attention, Fabulous Sebastian threw out a challenge to our audience members. He may have another challenge for you in this one as well. We've already talked about wrestling. Let's see how many sports analogies Fabulous Sebastian can squeeze into roller derby and just wrangle in there. So throw out a sport and let's see what we can do with it. And in this jam, there's 5 points for Holly Funk. Italy out, and she's not lead jammer. Scores a lot closer now. 28 plays 36. Holly Funk looking to add to the tally for Newcastle. Picking up 3 in that one. So a strong jam for Newcastle. 8 plays 0.
We've just had the medical team making their way over to Bucking Beck from the Wollongong team. She's had some sort of lower back injury. They're icing at present. Hopefully it's nothing serious and she'll be back in action very shortly.
Buckenbeck, a rookie last year for Wollongong, grew up quickly in roller derby. Obviously, talent is part of the bloodstream because Buck and Beck is the daughter of Vicious Ness. So mother-daughter combination playing out there today. Not something you often see, especially of that caliber. Vicious Ness making a presence known right now against Thunderslut and getting the track cut. So Thunderslut on the way to the box. Power jam here for Wollongong. Everybody going down here. Looks like it was a clockwise block on Ziggy Starbuster. Reggie Ramjet having a way with Ziggy Starbuster in that one. Taking to the outside. Ziggy keeps on skating, spins to the inside. And after getting absolutely pummeled for about a lap, she is lead jammer.
Thunderslut's up from the bench and back in now. The power jam is over. Thunderslut back for Newcastle.
So Ziggy Starbuster hits to the inside, calls it off from the ground.
Buckingbeck not lining up. She's still resting with the ice on her back.
Ziggy Starbuster, hell of a jam, getting pummeled from pillar to post and keeps on skating.
But the score is now down to an 8-point difference. So Newcastle doing well to grind their way back.
Official review in play at the moment. Newcastle calling it. The Duchess wanting to talk over something with the officials there.
So we're ready for you now to throw in your sporting reference, and we will try to make an analogy, trying to compare something that's happening in roller derby to something that happens in that sport. I do worry that people are going to give us some crazy things.
Rock fishing. Nothing coming from the people yet, but we'll definitely incorporate it as it comes through, Sebastian.
I'm working up some references for horse polo. Horse soccer, have you ever seen horse soccer? They play on a horse with a big ball.
No. Is that a sport?
That's a sport.
That's a thing?
Horse soccer.
I've not, but we do love sports here, folks, especially roller derby. 5x5 putting on some of the best bouts you'll see this year. One of the best tournaments you'll see in all of Australia, if not the world, when it comes to roller derby. The most in-depth fan experience available for roller derby. So if you're a fan, you have the opportunity to watch the games in-house. 4 games in one day for $12 is a bargain. You have live streaming, you have a podcast dedicated specifically to the 5x5 championship. You have a tipping competition. On the website, we have jammer leaderboards. You see who are the top scoring jammers throughout the season. Full breakdown of all the games, points, everything on that website. It is the most in-depth experience for roller derby fans out there.
And to put it in international context, that's $12 Australian. That's what, $8 US?
It's about 47 cents.
47 cents. 47 euro. 47. 4 euros.
That's how it feels sometimes when I make purchases from overseas.
Yeah, our dollar was strong for a while, but the Australian dollar has certainly dived in the last 12 months.
And it's been hard to make that adjustment. I'm like, oh, I'll buy it, fine. And then it comes up to like, double the price almost with postage. It's a killer.
Yeah, it was good when our dollar was equal with the American dollar.
And next on the economics podcast, the live cast, where we break down the economics of the world. Let's bring it back to Derby. If you're buying pads or skates from overseas, it's going to be a lot more expensive to get them.
Much better to buy them from Sydney Derby Skates. Proud sponsors of this broadcast.
Yeah, this stream brought to you by Sydney Derby Skates and the Hostery.
The Hostery.
The Hostery.
So Newcastle down just one skater at present. And Italy trying to bash her way through. That was a very ungraceful pass through the pack. Ungraceful but effective.
Yeah, because multiplayer block being called on license to kill. Italy is lead jammer. Booger jamming for Newcastle, still held up in the pack.
Booger, perhaps my favourite character from Revenge of the Nerds.
Booger, most recently of Auckland Roller Derby League. She started her career in Newcastle, moved to Auckland, played with Auckland Roller Derby League for a good number of years. Now coming home, LeBron James style, back to Newcastle where it all began.
Indeed, we've lost a lot of skaters to overseas countries. Susie Powell, formerly of Newcastle, now skating over in the States.
Yeah, with Charm City, WFTDA playoff bound team, I'm sure. One of the teams that you'll see playing later on today, Inner West Roller Derby League, Batty Davis, most recently of Inner West, also from Wollongong, now playing for Angel City in Los Angeles. You saw the Snipers playing early today. Sydney Roller Derby League Snipers, former sniper, former assassin Liv Vicious, and now playing for Gotham Girls Roller Derby, the #1 league in the world. So lots of seeds planted in Australia as far as derby goes.
If I was making a sporting reference, I would compare it to the NBL and the NBA, the Australian Basketball League.
Absolutely. I can keep going if you want, Sebastian. Southside Derby Dolls, Agradite, last year played for Southside, now playing with London Roller Girls, top 10 team in the world. Southside Derby Dolls, Por Favor and Ankle Biter. Everyone's familiar with them from last year's championship winning team, now playing with VRDL in Victoria, a top set, number 7 ranked team in the world as well. So 5x5, small tournament in New South Wales, but big players, no doubt.
And 5x5 a growing tournament. Remember, the very first year there was only 5 teams.
Now we have 2 divisions of 5. Armageddon, Battlegrounds. You're watching Armageddon right now, and Thunderslut jamming for Newcastle. 20-foot rule applies. She picks up lead jammer. That jam comes to a close with 5 points for Newcastle. 0 points for Wollongong in that one.
And the difference exactly 20 points with 11.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Wollongong 54 plays 34. If you're tipping at home in the tipping comp, I don't know how you would have picked this one, but I know I didn't pick this one to go this way so far. Wollongong doing a hell of a job at keeping Newcastle Jammers at bay. Holly Funk, however, forcing her way through to lead jammer status.
And Ziggy Starbuster still to get out of the pack, and now she makes it through.
Holly Funk, however, in the midst of her scoring.
Yep. She's 3/4 of a track in front of Ziggy Starbuster.
Pack splits. Holly Funk forced to let go are the Wollongong blockers, and that's 4 more points for Holly Funk.
He calls off the jam just as Ziggy makes it into the pack.
0 points for Ziggy and Wollongong in that one. 4 points to Newcastle, 38 plays 54. 10.5 left in the first. In what is a very tight, very good game of roller derby. Thunderslut lining up against Kitty Killer. Full packs, both squads.
A timeout being called by Wollongong.
Newcastle setting up at the jammer line. Bench coach for Wollongong. Normally you'd see her out there on skates. Look for her to be playing in the coming rounds. Janice Jobham. Another star of roller derby here out off skates today.
Indeed, another veteran's been here for a long time in her league.
So with the timeout in play, it's probably a good reminder, folks, that this stream is brought to you by Sydney Derby Skates, including all the entertaining things that are happening in between games and in between halves. We've had a cooking show from Lioness, Eat Like a Lion. We've had a snack show from Viva La Derby. I, for one, enjoyed that. I thought that was good.
You enjoy anything that involves eating, Kahuna.
Yeah, that's right. I got some buffalo blue cheese puff thingies, and I'm happy with that.
Well, timeout is over. Teams are back on the track.
One of the shows that you will see later on today as well is the Never Have I Ever done with Derby Girls. So that will be being played live on air. Never Have I Ever. Thunderslut jamming for Newcastle. She's out in front and lead.
The one thing you'll notice about Derby is that they always skate anti-clockwise around the track and they turn corners, unlike barrel racing. In barrel racing, you can only go in a straight line. The straights in roller derby are very short. So getting speed, getting that centrifugal force as you go around the corner, very different from the sport of barrel racing.
Fabulous Sebastian, an expert on barrel racing, of course, and utilizing that here today. Barrel racing and roller derby both move at a very fast pace. And no matter how you put it, speed knitting is just not the same. It doesn't have the same physicality, doesn't have the same physics involved. Even though they throw the word speed on there, at the end of the day, it's just knitting.
Well, what I thought speed knitting was actually people that were on ice.
It's just methamphetamine so hard and they just knit.
They can't sit still.
They just knit.
They can't sit still. Whereas in Derby, it's the adrenaline that makes you go fast. It's the training and the adrenaline.
It's not the speed.
It's not. It's not the ice.
It's not the
not
ice.
the crystal methamphetamine.
It's not.
It's a clean sport.
Holly Funk lead jammer for Newcastle. Booger looking for the cut, not getting it. Italy now out of the pack. She's looking to close the gap, but Holly Funk about half a lap on Italy. They pass the same apex at the same time. Holly Funk now with some room to move, hits to the inside and calls it off. Lucky to not go back in there. Only the 1 point. Wollongong stingy with the points in that one. 54 plays 49. This one is a close one, folks. 7.5 minutes left in this first half.
5 points, the difference.
5 points, and Newcastle coming strong in the last couple.
I was thinking that the referees could perhaps impose stricter penalties. When they're sending to the sin bin, you have to knit something before you can come out.
Pretty quickly, though, too.
That would be speed knitting.
Yeah.
You have to speed knit a scarf before you can rejoin the pack. And speed knitting would be very helpful for our friends who play roller derby in Iceland, where it's cold.
It would. By half time, they've got a new jumper they can wear.
Whereas the skaters here are wearing compression tights, lycra tops. Woolen derby wear could be the go in Iceland.
Or if you're Thunderslut, you're not wearing much at all.
Well, she's wearing a shirt that someone told her was a dress.
So another jam there going Newcastle's way. So 2 points to Newcastle, chipping away ever so slightly. Only 3 points in it. Wollongong holding on to the narrowest of margins. Maybe not the narrowest, but still pretty narrow nonetheless. Narrow would probably be 2 points or 1.0 points. That's a very narrow margin.
Three's narrow.
Three's pretty narrow.
That's.
And number 3, Holly Funk, jamming now for Newcastle. Hit to the inside. Ziggy Starbuster 29. She's forced inside and recycled to the back. Newcastle really finding their footing in the last couple of jams. Mass exodus from the penalty box. Holly Funk skating amidst a bunch of Dockyard dames.
Well, Newcastle now have lead jammer. One clean pass, 4 points would give them the lead. And there's a 4 point pass.
And Newcastle grabbing it now, taking the lead.
5.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Newcastle take the lead for the first time.
In the olden days of live streaming roller derby, if you're a fan of Derby News Network, usually with a lead change, that means you have to take a drink. And if you aren't having a drink tonight, pour one out for Derby News Network. Laying the groundwork early for what you're seeing today. Live streaming roller derby.
Quick
Italy, lead jammer for Wollongong.
and a very quick start there for Italy. Did you see that acceleration?
Like a Lamborghini.
Like Usain Bolt.
A very well-known Italian. Fast-moving packs. Italy doing her best to catch up. Picking up points there. Italy swimming through the pack like she's playing water polo. Ding.
I suspect that Parole Denied could actually touch the ground in a pool if she was playing water polo. She wouldn't need to tread water at all. She is so tall.
There's no deep end for her.
No deep end.
Holly Funk, however, in the deep end right now. She's skating up against a strong Wollongong wall at the front. Kitty Killer jamming for Wollongong. She's out and lead jammer. So Wollongong did take the lead back in that last one, 56-55. 1 point in it. Kitty Killer with lead here and a chance to extend.
So Kitty Killer takes a big fall there. She's up. Scored 2 points.
Both teams picking up 2 points. Newcastle against the lead. Kitty claiming 2 while calling it off from the inside. 57 plays 58. 3 minutes left in this first. Only 1 point in it, folks. So we've said this to these two teams have a lot of history, Sebastian, going back to 2010, the Steel City Skate City tournament challenge between these two teams. Wollongong did get the best of their first matchup ever. And that was the last time that they've been able to beat Newcastle. So they've played 5 times over the years. It's become a tradition. They usually meet at Eastern Region, and Newcastle have had the best of them the last 4. So 1-4 is Wollongong's record, 4-1 Newcastle's. But so far in this one, Wollongong trying to hold on. So both teams 0 each in that one. Neither team troubling the scorekeepers. 58 plays 57. Scores stay pat.
Now, just because Wollongong have not beaten Newcastle for a while does not mean that they won't do it here today.
No, absolutely. And if they keep playing the way they are, if trends continue, obviously it's going to be a close one. But Wollongong definitely in the game here.
There's definitely no underdog in this particular competition. Particularly Italy goes outside, goes inside, but still can't get through.
So lead jammer to Holly Funk now.
Holly Funk, clean pair of heels.
Italy giving chase. And Holly Funk calling it off, not wanting to risk any points going their way.
I see that Sharon Tilston has accepted our penalty box speed knitting challenge. I look forward to seeing the outcome of that. Can she knit a beanie, or what they call a wool hat in America?
A toque in Canada?
A toque in Canada?
Toque in Canada.
Is that Inuit?
I don't know
word?
what that's a booty.
I mean, we are multicultural here.
But Tinker's toss, Sharon Tilson, taking up that challenge. Not sure it's a good idea to spend much time in the penalty box anyway, though. So stay out of the box, Tink. Don't worry about the knitting for now. Both jammers pushing hard, and Kitty Killer getting the best of it. She's lead for Wollongong. Thunderslut giving chase now. Thunderslut, very changed role in this game. Normally a jammer, but primary today, having a high rotation number of jams. Of course, shouldering responsibility of some of those other skaters out today. no debris, no baby cakes for the year. So new Jam is having to step up into the role of primary and shoulder some of the responsibility.
And we've seen that happen many times over the years. A skater is given the chance to be more of a jammer or more of a pivot, and they excel at that role.
Absolutely.
They step up to the challenge, and it becomes a regular part of their routine then.
A lot of times the only difference between a superstar and a non-superstar is opportunity.
Indeed it is.
And we go into halftime with a very close margin. 58 plays 57. Wollongong in control by 1 point in this nail-biter here. 5x5 opening round 1, Newcastle, Wollongong. Stay tuned for second half, folks.
Hi, I'm Susie from Sydney Derby Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the Sydney Derby Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.
So half-time, 58-57, Wollongong 1 point ahead, nosing their way ahead out in front. Second half about to get underway, Jam number 1.
And this is good. This is the game we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for a close game. The first 2 bouts today have been uneven.
This is exactly what we're looking for. Close games are good games. And so far, the Dames and the Steel City Derby Dolls putting on a show for us. Holly Funk skipping through to lead jammer, nice and quick. Getting second half started the way they want. Ziggy Starbuster jamming for Wollongong. She's still stuck in this pack. Spins around the outside, but hit to the floor. So Holly Funk approaches the pack, calls it off, happy with the 1 5-point pass, not wanting to give any points to Wollongong. And first jam, second half, lead change. Newcastle striking a blow early in this one. Wollongong unable to parry in this fencing game.
Kitty Killer, she feints, she parries, she lunges. She's through there like an Olympic fencer.
Kitty Killer is out in front, but she's not lead jammer. She did have a no pass, no penalty on her initial, so lead jammer status here for Fantastic. She calls it off before any points can be picked up by Kitty Killer, and Wollongong scores stay 62-58. Newcastle grabbing the lead early in this second half.
And interestingly, we haven't seen Hippie Hardass on the jam line yet for Newcastle.
No, we talked previously in the last game, Sebastian, about the evolution of players, how they change over time, and Hippie Hardass, the opposite of what we've seen so far with some of the other skaters, going the other way, primarily a jammer in the past, now better utilised in the pack and blocking almost exclusively for Newcastle. Italy, a lead jammer for Wollongong. Seesaw battle here, back and forth. Not like if me and you got on a seesaw, Sebastian. That's just all one-sided.
I'd possibly be in orbit.
I'd be sitting very low to the ground, I'm sure. Italy getting through 5 points.
And once again, another visual joke from us to the people at home.
If you want a visual joke for the people at home, me and Sebastian just resemble the number 10. Next to each other at this commentator's table. It's just the number 10. And with that 5-point pass from Italy, Wollongong take back the lead. So again, lead change. Probably the 4th or 5th we've seen so far. And Wollongong now out to 67 plays 62. 9 points in that jam for WIRD.
Quick crack repairs in between the jam. Officials now calling a timeout. The line track had not been fixed in time.
So Roundhouse Ruby out there for Wollongong was another one of the transfers we've spoken so often about. Started out with Wollongong initially when she began her bouting, moved to Sydney Roller Derby League in 2014, was part of the Snipers last year, would have played today for the Snipers, but moving back to Wollongong. You haven't seen her jam today as yet, but does jam quite often last year, so look for that maybe in the reserves there, having another jammer available for them.
And that could well be the play with Newcastle and Hippie Hardass as well. It's going to come down to the line, looking at the scoreboard now. They might want a fresh jammer in those dying minutes of the game.
Holly Funk, however, she's on her way to the box, called for a forearm, so power jam here for Ziggy Starbuster, captain and president of Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby. Now, we did have earlier our Snack Life program brought to you by Viva the Derby. We're getting Tinker's Toss saying that her derby snacks at home, when she's watching the derby, hummus, carrot, and tomato on toast.
I do like a good hummus.
I like carrot and tomato with hummus. Interesting combination. It's not something you associate carrot with normally, right? On toast.
I don't mind a little bit of grated, maybe grated carrot on top would be nice.
I love the people coming through with their snack recommendations. We had rice crackers with Jarlsberg cheese earlier. Very specific Jarlsberg cheese, which is a good cheese. But Holly Funk pushing hard at the front of this pack and not getting anywhere as yet. So strong defense from both teams at the moment.
Well, certainly Wollongong creeped out to 15 points.
The largest lead they've had for a while anyway.
Slammed in the inside track.
Ziggy Starbuster sent to the inside and from the ground tried to call it off, but couldn't get her hands on her hips from the position which she was in, tapping on the ground. It's not the UFC, you can't tap out. That's a sports reference without even anyone giving it. Had to put her hands on her hips, rolled over, did the action, gets the call off. 14 points in that jam for Wollongong. 81 plays 62 now, 19 points in it. Timeout has been called by Newcastle. No, official timeout, sorry, in play. Looks like there was a track issue.
Certainly a lot of track repairs today. Skaters literally tearing up the track.
And metaphorically, of course, as well. I did think that the timeout, this is fortuitous for Newcastle. I thought that they would have called the timeout looking to slow the roll of Wollongong, if you will. They're obviously building up a couple of jams here in a row, want to break that momentum shift, but getting the track to do the timeout for them has worked well. So what we have with the track, obviously, is tape down on the wooden surface. And, of course, everyone knows that when you have tape coming up, it does require 4 people to roll that tape out.
It requires one person. It requires 4 referees.
4 referees.
Let's see how many people take the screw in a light bulb.
How many referees does it take to lay a track? Answered. Asked and answered. 4. 4 referees. Fantastic now jamming for Newcastle. She's pushing at the front. Kitty Killer stuck at the back. License Kellen away to the box. A 4-3 pack advantage to Wollongong. No, sorry, 3-3. No advantage. Buckenbeck still in the box in the last jam. So Fantastic. She's lead jammer.
So what points can Newcastle score? 1.5 left on the jam clock.
Fantastic hits to the outside.
And track cutting.
Oh, so track cut on Fantastic, which means Kitty Killer, who was in the box, has a reprieve. She's now out. Of course, no lead jammer. It will go the full 2 minutes. Kitty Killer, 70 seconds on the board, on the clock. See what she can do with it. Kitty Killer finding a way through. That's her initial pass, though. Fantastic comes back on the track, but illegal procedures. I don't know if she entered in front of someone, but she's back to the penalty box here. So a fresh 30 seconds for Kitty Killer to rack up points. There's 5. There's 5 more for Kitty Killer, extending the lead. 10 points so far. Another pass available. With the clock ticking down, she may be able to get another one in. There's 15. 10 seconds left in this jam. Kitty Killer.
WIRD 4 points short of 100.
Full 4 points for Wollongong, 3 points for Newcastle. So a big 19-3 jam for WIRD brings up the ton. 100 points on the board. Wollongong 35 over Newcastle, sitting on 65 at the moment. So again, bring up the century, tipping their bat to the crowd. Italy out. She's lead jammer for Wollongong. Thunderslut went square into a Wollongong blocker and did not move forward at all.
And Thunderslut still caught up in that wall. Wollongong at Newcastle shuffling position. Little Italy almost to the inside, but knocked straight down. And now rejoins at the back. Thunderslut still caught up at the back of the pack. Unable to make headway through that wall of green, and now she does on the inside. A little bit of speed and acceleration.
So Thunderslut getting out at the end there, but no points scored. 4 more for Little Italy, or Italy rather. She just happens to be little. That name's not actually Little Italy. Funnily enough, from Wollongong, Italy. So Fantastic. She got lead jammer in the last one. Does it again in this one. Newcastle in control of this jam. Kim Ocean on her way to the box. Jamming for the first time today. Sitting for the first time also. Fantastic gets through 5-point pass and calls it off. I don't know if she was given the signal there to call it off. They'll start fresh with a power jam, but obviously still needs to make the initial pass. So this comes down to strategy again. We've seen many leagues do that in the past. Do you run the short point or the long points? Some bench coaches like to be able to call it off, get a fresh jammer out there, maybe the jammer of your choice. The downside of that, Sebastian, is that the other team gets to put out who they want in the blockers as well.
And you've also got to do that initial pass again. So you spend that time on the initial pass that could be spent scoring if your old jammer stayed out there.
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of playing the long points. You've got the momentum. You're already on your scoring pass. You've got lead. Keep running it. Get the points up. You know that your blockers so far have done a good enough job to get you there. trust them again to go again.
And then I'm also saying let's run those points, get as many as you can. If your jammer is tired, star pass it.
Absolutely. So what might happen is, and we've seen it happen so many times, you call it off, bench coach gets the jammer they want out there, then they don't even get lead. And it has happened. What it does allow is for the defense to reset. They get to put out their strongest pack. They get to put it and start from the jammer line in a set wall rather than the moving pack that, is often a lot more easy to negotiate.
And even if you get lead jammer, you could spend 20 seconds getting through that pack.
We're going to see if that gamble paid off here. So you can see Vicious Nest back on the track with Ziggy Starbuster, Kitty Killer, killing the power jam so far. Holly Funk. Still not out, and finally she is lead jammer.
17 seconds spent to get to that lead jammer.
So she'll only have 12 seconds on this power jam. About 8 of it going to be used in the lap here.
So
hit to the inside.
power
Commotion
jam is
back
now
on
over.
track. And no points scored just yet. Commotion back on track. She's now on her scoring pass. And Vicious Nest forcing the track cut on Holly Funk.
So the power jam reversed.
Commotion putting her head down, getting her skates going. Long 20-foot pack there. Finally forced to let it go, and Commotion now has 5. Commotion, another 5 points. So we can see this one has backfired on Newcastle, putting the fresh jammer out there. Did not yield the results they wanted. 14 points so far for Commotion in this one. There's another 5. So in this jam, Holly Funk's still in the box. Power jam for Italy. Booger looking for the cut, sneakily putting her hands up, calling for it. She knew she was behind. Well played. Italy 5 points. Holly Funk makes her way back into the track. Wollongong aware, set up at the back. And big hit, Roundhouse Ruby on Holly Funk. Called for a back block. Holly Funk back on her way to the box.
Wollongong certainly in an authoritative position here. They keep getting the power jams and scoring points.
Biggest lead of the game, and Italy taking full advantage. 5 more points, 10 so far. And another 30 seconds to have her way.
Italy is looking tired though.
So Italy not getting through on that last pass, calling it off. So they're starting the jam next with Kitty Killer, employing the same tactics we just decried in the last jam or the couple jams ago. So we'll see if the same gamble works out for Wollongong in this one.
An official timeout being called.
Head referee, game over, being called over to the penalty box area. So we will get confirmation, hopefully, of what that was about. I think they may be doing a penalty count. Making sure the penalty board in the middle matches up with what the penalty trackers have.
We saw some heavy penalties in the first bout of today. Seems like a long time ago, but we had 3 skaters evicted for penalties.
So License to Kill has fouled out. Getting some hugs from a Newcastle brethren there, but License to Kill will play no further part in this game. Looks like that was 7, and that's what the stoppage was about. Not ejection, it was a foul out. License to Kill watching from the crowd. So Kitty Killer out in front, not lead jammer, no pass, no penalty. Five more points for Kitty Killer. So no lead jammer, both jammers picking up no pass, no penalty. We're going to go the full 2 minutes here. Jammers will go point for point. What it comes down to now is whose walls can stop the progress of the opposition jammer. Vicious Nest doing a hell of a job of it for Wollongong. 4 more points for Kitty Killer. Holly Funk held up.
Kitty Killer certainly seeming to have the more speed, the more momentum coming around the track and through the pack.
There's 4 more for Holly Funk. Kitty Killer, another 4.
Holly Funk's now been sent to the bin.
So that's about 4 penalties in as many jams, if not less. Holly Funk getting very familiar with the penalty timers right now. Now remember, she is the captain of Newcastle today as well.
And if she was speed knitting in that penalty box, she would have finished a cardigan by now.
She would have had a toque and a cardigan. Do Canadians use cardigans? Sweater? They definitely don't have jumpers.
No, I think cardigan would be the correct word for a Canuck.
So there's 5 more for Kitty Killer, 24 so far. Jam comes to its natural conclusion, 2 minutes. Holly Funk was released from the box at the end of that jam. So Newcastle not disadvantaged with a power jam to start the next one, but score has opened up. Wollongong really putting Newcastle to the test here. 160 plays 79, 81 points in it. Wollongong doubling through on Newcastle.
And another official timeout.
So we're left with a really fascinating situation here as far as the table goes, Sebastian. We know it's only round 1. There's still a lot of derby to come for the rest of the season. But if fortunes do not change for Newcastle here, we're faced with 2 heavily favoured teams in Sydney Snipers and Newcastle's Dockyard Dames coming out of round 1 with losses.
Indeed, we see all the Snipers lose, but we also know that was the Snipers' first game with their new lineup. We know that they have a large pool to draw from. Newcastle don't have that luxury.
No, but what it does mean as well, we know that Newcastle has a lot of firepower out of the lineup today that will be coming back through injury over the next couple of rounds. So for Wollongong, especially, for Southside as well, really fortunate timing as far as the schedule goes. Definitely not planned that way, but fortune's has definitely favoured them at the moment. Newcastle playing running out a depleted lineup, and Wollongong taking advantage.
Indeed, as you were saying before about points difference, this could come in all in handy. If Newcastle and Snipers continue to win the rest of the games, they've got this first loss under the belt. They'll play themselves, they'll play each other at some point.
Absolutely.
And that could be incredibly crucial, having both dropped a game. Not that I'm saying Newcastle have lost.
Not yet. Still plenty of time on the clock. We just saw in that last jam a 24-point jam from Wollongong.
Newcastle actually lost a point.
They went backwards. So Wollongong did bust out a 24.1 earlier. We saw in game number 2, Northern Beaches had a 35-point jam. So when it comes to 90 points on the board, it's not out of the question when you're talking 11 and a half minutes left.
Indeed.
Right now, Booger with the star for Newcastle, do what she can, and she picks up lead jammer. So Booger quick around the track. Italy still held up on her initial. Booger goes down and calls it off from the inside.
Timeout being called by Wollongong as well.
Booger gives her signature greeting to the crowd. The chest thumping. Booger, Booger. It's been a long time, ladies and gentlemen, in Sydney or in New South Wales since we've seen that. And it's good to have Booger back on our shores playing for the purple and yellow Newcastle Dockyard Dames.
You certainly wonder where skaters get their names from. I wonder where Booger's name came from.
Couldn't tell you. I could not tell you.
You don't want to
Might
have
be something to ask in one of the interview segments here we have at the 5x5 live stream. Now, if you are watching this on the stream, this will all be archived and uploaded in full high definition 1080p. For those of you watching it now in archive, congratulations. Now, when we say where people get their names from, Sebastian, yours is really self-evident. Your name's Sebastian, and my gosh, you are fabulous. The fabulous Sebastian.
My mind's a hangover from my days in professional wrestling, so it just kind of followed me to roller derby. I was slightly more flamboyant at the wrestling.
So get to know your commentators. Sebastian, long-time commentator here for roller derby, going back to the origins in Sydney. But
the very first bout in Sydney.
The very first bout ever in Sydney. So pedigree, not only on the track, but behind the microphone as well. The fabulous Sebastian, a legend of the game. There was zero sarcasm or irony there, I swear. I can hear you giggling, but it was absolutely true. I remember going to roller derby games at Sydney Boys High before I was ever involved. I was just going for something to do. And you and Mike, man, I was a big fan long before I ever picked up a mic myself. So Fantastic now. She's got lead jammer for Newcastle.
The pack is in some sort of disarray there. Italy trying to break through for Wollongong, but held up by great defensive work.
Reggie Ramjet, Holly Funk causing all sorts of headaches for her at the moment.
It's a 5-point pass there for Newcastle.
And Fantastic calling that one off. Again, they don't have the luxury of trying to get the initial pass over and over again. When you're not getting lead jammer as often as the other team, when you do have it, you got to hold it. You got to maximize it.
Makes sense to us, but we are only commentators. We're not the bench managers.
Yeah, I would admit that I'm probably not very good at the game either. If you got me out there on the track, I probably would not be able to do as good as I say behind the microphone either. So for all the people listening that are always like, you don't know the game, you don't play. You're right, I don't. So I'll give you that one.
And then we have Newcastle again with lead jammer, which is good. Let's see what damage they can do. Not able to take the inside, calls it off. 2 points to 0. So Newcastle slowly grinding back, but they're down to just under 9 minutes now.
Yeah, clock definitely not in their favour at the moment. They're going to need a bit more than 2-point jams. Maybe take some gambles, take a bit of a risk, run a few jams out, see if they can trust their blockers to keep the other jammer at bay, because they're going to need to do something different here. Now, I have been told, Sebastian, by Tinker's Toss, that in the US and Canada, they have both sweaters and cardigans.
But they don't have jumpers.
Definitely don't have jumpers. Lead jammer, Ziggy Starbuster, sorry. Ziggy Starbuster.
So we have Wollongong in a power jam situation now.
Yeah, fantastic on her way to the box.
We've
Or
just
a forearm call.
We've just seen Newcastle slowly grinding back that deficit, but could all be undone now.
There's a track cut to Ziggy Starbuster. Fantastic. Will swap out with Ziggy. So one sits down, one stands up. Much like the Highlander, there can be only one.
Are we doing movie references now?
Let's do it. We've still got another game to go.
We'll save that for the next game, movie references.
Fantastic. She's out and skating. No lead jammer, of course. This will go the full 2 minutes. Ziggy Starbuster getting through for 5. So fast, a fast-moving pack spread out. Both packs wanting to avoid being a point and keeping it rolling. Fantastic, both getting hits.
And time runs out. 4 points to 2. Official review being called.
Yeah, Captain Holly Funk, Duchess throwing up some hand signals there. Illuminati. Looks like they're actually getting some advice from the crowd. Gajilla sold separately. Even when she's not playing, she's still a part of it. Still making her presence known. No rules against that, of course. Crowd can call out whatever they want to the bench coach and give as much advice as they want.
We've been doing our best to give advice, but no one listens to us.
No one at all.
Because one of my favourite parts of Derby is the hand signals and how they are interpreted. We'll see the official timeout signal now being given from the pivot line. It's quite a robotic type.
It is. You can see the pattern to it as well. The tap, tap, point.
That's why I think it's more robotic.
Now we're analysing and breaking down official timeout hand signals from commando roles. Good times. Apparently we don't have enough to talk about. We start going to that.
It's the same as in cricket when the umpires signal a 4 or 6. They all have their own interpretation of the hand signals.
Absolutely.
Our officials are the same. The robotic style. Some people do a dancing style. Some people rely on the brightness of their socks.
They put a lot of flair into it sometimes.
Yeah.
So, Shez Dispenser has said, thanks to all the people behind the scenes organising this feed today, it's been almost as great as being there.
Nothing is as great as being here.
So if you're not here today, make sure you are at the next one. Round 2 will be April 18 in a West Roller Derby League hosting out of what has traditionally been the home of roller derby in Sydney. Sydney Boys High has seen some iconic matches over the years. It's obviously been the home of Sydney Roller Derby League. It played host to the first ever international men's game in Australia. The Wizards taking on New Zealand. Rat City's Grave Danger playing out of there. And, of course, all the mini games that Inner West and Sydney Roller Derby League have played out of there also. Which is where, as I said earlier, the first games that I was watching you at, Sydney Boys High, with the worst sound system ever.
We've had some amazing sound systems over the years. I remember one was someone's home stereo that they brought in, and we plugged the microphone into it.
I remember a clown doing balloon animals,
Ah, yes.
which was a lot of fun.
That name was his name was Freak Show.
Yeah, he lives up to his name.
Freak Show. He now lives in Newcastle, incidentally, I think.
There you go, Freak
Cri-
Show.
Christopher Freak Show. You can find him on Facebook. I remember finding him at a festival I was hosting, and I invited him along to roller derby.
Always the showman, Sebastian. I got a unicorn. I had a unicorn made long before the unicorns existed.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So Kitty Killer on her way to the box. Power jam here to Booger. Track cut on Kitty Killer.
In fact, 3 of WIRD have ended up in the bin. So this leaves a 5-on-2 advantage to Newcastle on track.
So
what damage can they do?
Big pack differential. Wollongong speed up. Vicious Ness. Kitty Killer, the only ones left. And Vicious Ness. 2 skaters on the track and forcing the track cut. What a play by Ness.
We can see now why Wollongong are in the lead. They're just playing extraordinary derby today.
Fantastic hit. Just a veteran savvy coming to the fore there. So clock ticks down to 5 minutes. 167 plays 97. Kitty Killer back on the track. No lead jammer. So we're going to have 2 minutes here. 37 seconds left in this jam. Kitty Killer, that was her initial. This is her scoring. Booger makes her way back on the track when by the time Kitty Killer has passed 4 points, not passing one of the players legally. So she did pick up the not on the track point for Booger.
Newcastle off to the bin again. Oh no, end of the jam, sorry. No, into the bin.
Yeah,
Booger into the bin.
As that jam came to a close, Wollongong picking up an additional 4 and Booger on her way to the box. A power jam in the next one for Wollongong. Definitely out of the hands of Newcastle at this stage. The best they can do is try to minimize the points so the differential does not kick their ass come a couple of months' time.
Indeed, just under 4 minutes remaining. Will be a few jams in that time. Yeah. Now, Kahuna, I'm predicting a new trend is going to happen in roller derby. If you've ever been to the cricket, you'll notice that people at the cricket listen to their radio while watching the cricket. I'm expecting people are going to turn up in the roller derby audience and listen to us, not the live feed.
The difference about roller derby, though, is that there's usually commentators already.
I'm predicting they're going to listen to us, not the live.
So Maladjusted and Icy Red blessing the crowd here with their call. Obviously, Mal, very strong. He knows what he's talking about. But Sebastian says, don't worry about him. Pull out your phone, listen to us instead.
Listen to us. You can interact with us. You can send us messages. And we will respond.
Now Italy with the power jam here for Wollongong. Hop, skip, and a jump. She's got lead.
Hop, skip, and a jump, a hopscotch reference, even though we have not been asked to reference hopscotch as a sport.
Hopscotch is a sport. I didn't know hopscotch was a sport.
You can sportify anything.
Skipping rope.
Skipping is a sport.
Skipping's a sport.
Skipping is a sport.
Totem pole tennis.
Tether tennis can be a sport.
Tether tennis.
It was big in the 70s with Bjorn Borg. That's how he got started in tennis.
Is it really?
Playing tether tennis.
The more you know.
Don Bradman played with a cricket wicket and a golf ball.
Yep. Against his
Bjorn
water
Borg
tank.
started with tether tennis.
So there's some vital information for your everyday need. We feel more enlightened, more knowledgeable now. tether tennis. Bjorn Borg.
Thunderslut pushing hard, trying to get some points to Newcastle. 2 minutes 20 remains.
I got one for you, Sebastian. Colonel Panic, coach of the Southside, the Force. Big win today. Plays for Australia, plays for Smash. He started artistic skating. Male artistic skating was his big foray into the derby world. I just like imagining Colonel Panic with one of those sparkly like the unitard.
I am picturing him in Blades of Glory.
Yeah, that style. So 5 points for Thunderslut, lead jammer status. It's been few and far between. But here's a couple more on offer. Thunderslut, strong jam there, taking 8. Or 7 rather. My maths must be off, but I thought 5 plus 3 equals 8.
Timeout being called by Wollongong. 1:12 remains on the clock. Wollongong lead by 72.
Official review is in place. Seems to be something, or timeout, sorry, is in play. Seems to be something going on with the penalty box. We might have another foul out. So if you excuse our silence, it's because I'm really trying to pay attention and see what's happening over there. I'm not too good at reading lips. It could help a lot, though, for us, couldn't it, Sebastian?
I don't know. I've seen the Seinfeld episode.
If you, yeah.
where lip reading leads to misunderstandings.
Yeah. But imagine if, what do you think we would be able to say if we could read the lips of what the girls are saying out there on the track? What the skaters are saying? Probably a lot of things we probably can't repeat.
We could get one of those microphones the CIA uses to pick up long-distance conversations.
Or I think you can get them at Toys R Us, like Spy Gear.
We'll get one of those spy mics.
Booger jamming now for Newcastle. Only 1 minute left in this one. 72 points separating our two teams. And Booger is out, lead jammer. Kitty Killer now out. Not lead jammer, of course. You can tell that by the fact that her jam referee, Dan Opticon's waving his arms in front of him, saying, "No, you're not lead jammer." Booger with the call off. Time for one more. So it's been 5 years in the making. 4 years in the making. But Wollongong will beat Newcastle today. Unless something drastic happens in the next 20 seconds. And
we have a 70-minute jam.
Yeah.
A 70-point jam.
70-point jam. One of those famed, 20 pass or 15 passes, whatever the case may be. Thunderslut with the opportunity here. She's got one to beat. And
she's made it through.
Hers.
So Thunderslut, 70 points.
The scoreboard has gone down. And that's it. Official timeout has been called. 2 more points. So there's a bit of confusion in the house. But on the overlay, I don't know if that's accurate. But what does that read, Sebastian?
Reads 115, 184.
Is that accurate?
I think so.
So we're getting the thumbs up that is accurate. 115, 184, no time left. Of course, there is a problem with the in-house scoreboard. So we've got a crowd here standing around not knowing what the score is, but they know it's finished.
Indeed, our board died just at the start of that final jam. No clock, no score.
So one of the few times, Sebastian, where the advantage is with the home viewer, because they know the score right now. It's 115, 184, end of the game. Head referee, game over, calls it off. And after a hard-fought battle, Wollongong has reversed the tides of history over the last few years. And the first time they met in 2010 was the last time Wollongong won. And today, Wollongong taking the victory, 5x5 Armageddon, welcoming Newcastle to the 5x5 with a good win here. Wollongong 184 to 115. Next game coming up on this feed and track is the main event of the evening. Your hostesses with the mostesses, Central Coast Roller Girls Valkyries, taking on Inner West Roller Derby League. Sebastian will be bringing you more of his tasty interviews coming up shortly. But until that next game, I'm the Big Kahuna.
I'm the fabulous Sebastian. Well, welcome back to our coverage. I'm here with Moxie and Booger from Newcastle, making their debut in the 5x5 tournament. How was your debut? How did it feel?
It felt really difficult. We had fun though.
So, you and Wollongong, long-time rivalry. How did it feel to be playing them yet again?
For me, it's been a long time because I've just come back to Newcastle, but it felt just as it used to, good as it used to. So I'll be sore tomorrow.
So, first game of the tournament. What have you been doing to prepare for the 5x5 tournament?
Well, we've got a lot of players cobbled together from all over. We had a lot of transfers over the break, so this is really the first time that we've all played together, and we learn a lot.
So, what can we expect from Newcastle in the next round?
Just getting tighter, stronger. We're going to be a force to be reckoned with, don't you worry.
So, there were quite a number of skaters missing from your lineup. We saw Godzilla just behind us then. Are you likely to have more of your regular team back for the next game?
Well, Jill is going to be joining us again as soon as her ankle's good to go. And yeah, I think, is there anybody else that's coming back?
Dutchie will be back.
Dutchie's coming back, yeah. It'll be just like old times.
Just like old times. So Newcastle are going to become stronger as the competition goes on?
100%. The more we play together and the more we train together, because we're a newer team, the stronger we're going to get. And we've got a really good team vibe, so that's going to help.
Any particular team you're looking forward to playing? Is there someone out of all that lineup you think is going to be like a great game for you?
We always love playing S2D2. They are great girls and we have such fun playing with them.
Well, certainly S2D2, a big win first up today. They're looking strong. They're the two-time champions. How do you fancy your chances against the current champions?
S2D2, watch out because we're coming for you.
Well, that's a bit of an ominous warning there from the Newcastle. Oh, look at that. There's more of the team turning up. So everyone's pretty excited. Quick, say hello to your fans while you're here.
Hi, everybody. Righto, number 3.
Holly Funk doing a lot of jamming today. And I think it's about time that we went and spoke to Wollongong. So thank you very much, ladies. Well, now we can hear from Wollongong. Now, you've played Newcastle a number of times over the years. What do you think of today's bout?
We're very happy about that.
Bit of a grudge match, and I think we won.
Do you remember when the last time was that you beat Newcastle?
Do you remember?
November a year ago. Like, not last November, but the November before. And we beat them by 2 points.
That was a mix-up game, yeah.
So, Newcastle and Wollongong, a long history. Wollongong today taking the victory that they haven't had for a couple of years. That's pretty exciting. So this is the first round of 5x5. What's in store for us from Wollongong for the rest of the season?
We've only got a lot more players to come back from holidays and everything, and we're going to only get stronger. So watch out, 5x5.
Indeed, your roster today was very small. Who can we expect back in the near future?
Oh, we've got AVO, and we can all remember her nice little hits. And we've also got Cato Ninetails, and she's on a little holiday at the moment. So both overseas, and we've got some up-and-coming players as well.
So the same question I asked Newcastle. Is there anybody you're looking forward to playing? And of all the teams in the 5x5, is there a particular team that you enjoy playing the most?
Not really. I'm looking forward to playing everybody. So, yeah. No, I don't think there's any one team that we particularly have a grudge match with that we really want to beat, but we're just going to try and beat everybody.
Well, I think Newcastle was a grudge match, weren't they?
Look, I say to the guys every time we play, seriously, play and love playing with each other, and it doesn't matter who you play, and we love playing everyone. So
new teams this year are Newcastle, who you've played before, Sydney Snipers. Any hesitations or excitement about playing the Sydney Snipers?
No, not at all. We're just going to give it what we gave today, and you know the points will show who wins in the day.
Indeed, Wollongong are as strong as ever. Ladies, thank you very much. I'll let you go and cool down. Great game today. And we're out of here.
Hi, I'm Susie from Sydney Derby Skates. We stock a wide range of products from all the best brands. Did you know that the Sydney Derby Skates website is up to date with stock levels and will only let you buy something if it's actually in stock? We pride ourselves on having awesome customer service and very quick delivery. Usually items are sent the very same day you place your order.